Greetings, welcome to maryisanewevangelization.com. And today we're going to talk about women. And Mary obviously was a woman, and I think she is someone that we could all agree is a model for women. And as a matter of fact, the topic today is Yogi Bhajan's view on women. Now, for those of you who don't know, Yogi Bhajan came from India to this country, and he started the 3HO Society, happy, healthy, holy, something like that. And um, he also brought KUNDalini Yoga to this country, which is very, very popular. And he has started a few other organizations, and he has passed this life, but he left behind a whole slew of teachings, libraries of lectures and things of that nature that are easily accessible on the internet. There is a Sikh Gurdwara ashram down in Espanola, New Mexico, and SikhNet is tied into it. Many of the artists who you might be familiar with in the sacred chant, New Age music category, Snatam Kaur, Ajit Kaur, Jai Jagdish. They're all connected to Yogi Bhajan through the Kundalini Yoga movement. And myself, as a Catholic, my connection here is Our Lady of Guadalupe, who this community proudly displays at their Gurdwara, at their Guru Ram Desh ashram in Espanola, New Mexico. Guru Ram Das. Okay, so through my investigation here and research, it came to my attention that Yogi Bhajan came to this country, and one of his main goals was to help liberate women. And he gave women all kinds of ideas and suggestions on how to get healthy. He taught them how to do the Kundalini Yoga, which, I mean, I've tried, and like, there's no way I can do like even close to what these women can do. It's extraordinary. The self-control, the discipline. I was very impressed when I went to one of the Satnam Fests with just really the physical stamina and versatility that majority of these people there were women. Okay. Now, I was also impressed with the way they dressed, the way they walked, the way they carried themselves. It was like you were in a room filled with princesses, literally. And this is their mentality. This is their mindset, that they are princesses. And they, some of them even call themselves goddesses. Okay, so yeah. So you have a large number of women who Yogi Bhajan's teachings of Kundalini Yoga have literally transformed a group of former hippies, a lot of them, into goddesses, princesses, whatever. And that's, check it out. Okay, seriously, it's all there. Finding the goddess within, this kind of thing. Now, here again, my interest is her, Our Lady of Guadalupe. This is a mediatrix of all graces, Mary, who has appeared in many different forms as a woman, and she is the mediatrix of all graces. She is the mother of God, Jesus Christ. I don't believe there's any other feminine female who has ever lived on this earth, in this world or the next, who ranks higher than the virgin. Okay, so when you take the virgin, woman who gave birth as a virgin, okay, nobody ranks with her. So take your best goddess, whoever she might be, out of the Kundalini Yoga movement, and put her next to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Okay, now, are we going to have similarities? Yeah, we'll have similarities. When I saw a Jeep car, watch this girl on YouTube. A Jeep car, absolutely stunning, beautiful, spiritual, modest. I was very impressed, and she knows it. And I've shared my admiration for her and for these other women. So, but my world came crumbling down when I found out that they were supporters of Yogi Bhajan and his views on women, in particular, that the soul does not enter the body of an unborn baby until 4 months. I was shocked that anyone would believe such nonsense. And so they have special prayers at the 120th day of pregnancy that they say to bring a good soul into their body, into the body of that baby. Okay? So they acknowledge there's a body, but they're saying it's a soulless body. It's a body without a soul. So you can abort up to 120 days. It's your prerogative as a woman. This is part of women's liberation. You can choose whether to abort up until 120 days because there's no soul in that body. You can contracept as well. As long as you're exercising, the side effects aren't going to, that's quote from Yogi, okay? Now, you can contracept as well. So happy, healthy, holy, 3HO, vegetarians, all about healthy. You can contracept. You can put those chemicals in your body that have been linked to breast cancer. And Yogi's saying, go ahead and do that. So there's big contradiction number one. Okay? Look at the side effects of artificial contraception and look at the research that links it to breast cancer. And you're going to tell me that Yogi Bhajan had your best interest in mind when he encouraged you to take artificial contraception as long as you're exercising? Okay, so moving back to abortion, we know women who've had abortions before 4 months who have tremendous grief, who have tremendous suffering as a result of those abortions. So Yogi's a friend to women. Then he goes on to discourage adoption as a better alternative to abortion. We know tons of women who have adopted children who are very, very thankful and grateful because for some reason they couldn't conceive. And so adoption was available for them. So Yogi is saying no adoption, contraception's cool, and abortion up to 4 months. And we're calling him a liberator of women. Okay, so what kind of women has Yogi Bhajan produced? That's the big question. Now, on the outside, his disciples, the women disciples of Yogi Bhajan, are quite impressive. Okay? Very, very impressive. The way they carry themselves, their discipline, cold showers every day. I mean, really, like try that. Not easy to do. Vegetarians. Okay. So that's all good stuff. They are very emotionally secure. They look you right in the eyes. emotionally on that level, they have a lot of energy that is giving them strength. Okay, now when we're looking at this on the level of body, soul, and spirit, that's where I believe Yogi failed. He left the spirit out. He dealt with the body and he dealt with the soul. And I would say, I commend him. Okay? Now, the spirit is that part of us which lives on after our death. Okay? Our spirit lives on after our death. And our spirit is judged by God very specifically. When I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. Or I was hungry and you did not give me food. I was thirsty, you did not. Jesus laid out pretty much what we can expect at our judgment. Okay, we know our bodies decay and they go down, they go into the earth. Okay, they decay. Our bodies are not, the flesh here is not intended to live beyond 80, 90, 100 years maybe. Okay, something's going to give out. That's the bottom line. And in the coffin, typically your body just decays to bone. Now, so something's controlling our actions, and it's not, the body doesn't control itself. Okay, so then you have the soul and the mind, which sort of works with both spirit and body. It's kind of like the connection between the spirit and the body. Okay, now if you have no spiritual connection to God, then your soul is limited. I mean, you can maximize your soul through yoga, through these different exercises, and to be pretty darn efficient, but you still have a serious problem, and that is what is it, guys? What's the serious problem? It's our sinful nature. Now, as far as I can tell, Yogi Bhajan completely denies our sinful nature, our sinful impulses. Okay, Christianity clearly explains that if you are in this flesh on this earth, okay, you have a sinful nature to you. Okay, so your soul, you can build your soul up as much as you want through Kundalini Yoga, but you still have to deal with the sinful nature. So you have atheists who are doing Kundalini Yoga. Okay, you have people who do Kundalini Yoga who have committed crimes, murder, yes, and theft. And all you need to do is read Gursant Singh's book, Confessions of an American Sikh, 30 years a disciple of Yogi Bhajan, and he talks about all the corruption, the theft, the thievery, the deception, okay, the ridiculous spending that was going on. Okay, and this is a man from India. Okay, the poverty in India, yet he's in America spending exorbitant amount of money on ivory, of rare elephants and things of that exquisite nature. So basically here we have clearly on display, we have the Yogi Bhajan woman. Okay, now the spiritual life of these women, to me, that's the void. Okay, because they often sing about divine within, okay, finding God within themselves, finding the divine feminine within themselves, finding Buddha within themselves, whoever, whatever you want to call it. But really, it's a connection with the soul. They're making a connection with their soul, and they're stopping there. Okay, so that's like going back to the Garden of Eden before Adam and Eve fell. They were pretty intense people. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot going for them. Yet they still had to have a spiritual life with God. They were still accountable to his laws, and they disobeyed him. So in their tremendous soul awakened state, they still had a free will to disobey God and God's laws and God's teachings. And there's nothing that has changed, okay? So if you are an enlightened woman, like before Adam and Eve, you still have a free will. And God is still your creator. And God has laws that he has enacted. He has he has a way of life that he desires for his children to live. So this is where Yogi Bhajan failed, because he did not respect God's laws in regards to be fruitful and multiply. That was one of the foundational laws of God in the very beginning, that he told man, be fruitful and multiply. It's a very simple command, but he's saying no. He's saying you don't have to listen to that. As a woman, you can completely control that scenario through abortion, through contraception. He didn't say you had to have an abortion, no, but he certainly gave the women that choice up until 4 months. So basically what he's saying to you is that you are your own God. You make your own rules, okay? And Christians are like wrong about life, and the Bible's wrong. That is serious. That is very, very serious. And in other videos I've shared that, no, the soul does enter the body at conception. So you are taking a body away from a soul. And that's serious as well. Okay, what if someone took your body away from you and said, you can't have a body anymore, soul? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? We call that death in the human sphere. We call that death. But it's death of the body. It's not death of the soul. So the soul dimension is where this is all taking place. You have all these displaced souls of the aborted babies. It's staggering, the number of babies that have been aborted in this world. So where do all those souls go? No one has answered that question yet. You can guess, you can hope, oh, well, they go to heaven, right? Well, that's wishful thinking. That is wishful thinking at best. It's wishful thinking. Okay, so I wouldn't count on that. I'll be totally honest with you. Does God reject those souls? No, God does not reject them, but it doesn't mean he automatically takes them into heaven either. Okay, the heaven is a pretty exclusive place. It's a holy place. So a soul that has been rejected by its parent, a spirit, let's put it this way to keep it simple, a spirit who is rejected by his parents, uh, they might have some healing needed before they can enter heaven. They might be left here on this earth to help their parents come to grips with what they've done. So Yogi Bhajan, God knows his heart. Okay, if he really truly wanted to help women, and that was truly in his heart, yet for some reason he taught them that they can abort, that they can contracept, um, then he's God's dealing with him. God's dealing with him as we speak. Okay. For those of you who think that Yogi is a saint and that he's in heaven, um, that I can tell you, listen, you have really got to wake up. Wake up, because you are definitely being deceived into thinking that. Yogi is responsible for many abortions. Okay, that's the bottom line. He's responsible. Now, what are you going to do about it? I'm not saying renounce everything that Yogi said, or I'm not even saying to renounce yoga. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to be more discerning, and you got to ultimately develop your spiritual life. Even if you got to get away from the yoga for a little while or something like that, and really develop your spiritual relationship with God. Okay, and to me, anyone with any spiritual discernment will clearly recognize that there was no one like Jesus. No one like Jesus. No one did what he did. No one can match Jesus. That's the bottom line. So I start with him. You got to start with him. Now, for women, Mary, there's no one like Mary. So go to her. How did she live her life? How did she handle her pregnancy? It says that she went to her cousin Elizabeth's house, and both of those babies leapt for joy in the womb. And Mary's just pregnant with Jesus, just pregnant. Elizabeth's in her, I forget what month she was in. But the scripture is clear. John the Baptist was filled with the Holy Spirit from his conception. Jeremiah, the prophet, before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. That's what God said to Jeremiah. Before he was formed in the womb, I knew you. So, King David in the Psalms, he knit us together in our mother's wombs. Even in the Sikh scriptures, the child in the womb is blessed, right? So, this can all work out if people are willing to be humble. And yes, you have a lot to offer. Absolutely. There's no question about it. But the women in the church have a lot to offer as well in regards to spiritual matters. So people have got to come together, not on some false, like don't question anything kind of thing. No, that's not it at all. But take the best. Take the best, let go of the error, let go of the false, hurtful, harmful teachings. Thank you for listening, and spread the word. Just spread the word. Thank you.